Hi, and welcome to Wrong Way. And today we are tearing down the Monster Pro. So let me tell you more about it. Wrong Way. Alrighty, matey. Alright, so I've been using the Monster Pro for over a week now. I've stacked 600 kilometers or so on the clock. Wasn't riding in any rain. So now, today we will see how it looks from the inside. Where are the potential points of ingress? And we will also try to water seal it a bit. So our friend Raphael from Shin will have a Monster Pro that is waterproof. With that said, let's just get into it. First we'll unscrew the pedals, and then we will remove both sides of the outer shell. Boom. One side panel is off. We can see dirt on the inside, and we'll see soon where it came in. It's on the top, so somewhere here. I think it's coming in through here. There is, in the plastic, there's a bit of room, and it can go through the shell. We will take the batteries out anyways later. Quite a bit of dust here on the inside. That's why this side was already open, so it should be easier. But it's not. Also we see a bit of dust, but not that much. Looks actually surprisingly clean. Boom. It's also coated here with some heat-resistant spray, I think. I mean, that's at least what it looks like. And now, take a small break because I need to pee. Alright, so we took the panels off both sides. There was quite a bit of adhesive there. It was not so easy to get them out. But now we can take a look at the motherboard again, and quite fair enough. I mean, there's not a lot of dust in here. I mean, it is there. There's a bit of dust. We'll soon see where the most is coming out from, but it's not bad. It's not bad. We will soon remove also the heatsink, check what's behind, and then we get to see more. Now anyways, here's the motherboard. It's always impressing me how much power is coming just through such a small device. All the cables are on it, which is not optimal. And there's just one connection, which is this one. This connection is giving all the power from the battery into the motor. So in comparison to the veteran Sherman, there are 2 wires per each battery pack side. One connector from this side, one from the other. On the Monster Pro there's just one, and gotta tell you guys, this looks a bit flimsy to me. But there's a fuse here, which is nice, and then all the other connectors are to connect all the other battery packs with each other. Here is the 18 MOSFETs here and the 3 capacitors. So with that said, let's disconnect the battery, sadly. Alright, it's always a bit stressful. But the motherboard is now disconnected. Now we have to turn it on for a second. And yeah, and now all the capacitors here are discharged. I'll just secure this end because this is high voltage with some tape, and we can move on. All of these are also XT60 plugs, not XT90. And yeah, so many cables here. Screw into plastic. Sadly, no threads on the Monster Pro yet. This screw isn't even holding on to anything. There's not so many screws holding the motherboard in place. Here's this. Okay, there's 2 more screws holding the fan unit in place. Boom. threads. Nice. Not holding the motherboard in place, but the small plastic flimsy piece here. Okay, I think we can lift it up. Let's see. Yeah, there we go. All right. So this is the motherboard from the back. We have now a heatsink. Goes through here. There's this 3D printed part. Is there the air coming in through there? That's my question. Can you see some light there, like coming through the radiator thingy? Not really. But anyways, I think there is air coming through into the compartment here, right? Well, it looks pretty solid. I mean, there's no dust building up here. I mean, there's here from the ventilator, probably that's from the ventilator, but it doesn't look too bad. And there's also the seal, which I have broken sadly. Probably I would like to see another like filter in front of that. But other than that, I don't know if you actually need much more. But actually, now that I see it, I think this seal wasn't the best, because here is around this area there is dust building up. So probably I'll just put some silicone on that instead of this funny rubber noodle. Alright, so I already took the both battery packs out in the meantime, and I can see that the biggest potential of dust ingress is here. There's a small hole for cables. Also the side UC addict was talking about this. I will silicone that off later. That's going like into the RGB LEDs, and the same thing is here in the back. Even though I siliconed that earlier, I think there's still a spot where this might be going in. And here also here the LED is also another hole. And of course also around the motherboard. I think this noodle is not the best setup here, but I actually think that I would really like to put some mesh in here like I put into the EXN, but I sadly don't have it now, so I won't put it on. But actually you can see here there's just the rim. So I think the potential of water going in through here and then also deeper through here is not that big actually. And yeah, but there is no exhaust here anywhere for the air that is being pushed in here. So maybe sometime in the future I'll also do that. Now I'll also take out the other two batteries. I will seal that off here with silicone. And we will also take both shells apart to see the glorious motor, the glorious 24-inch or 18-inch 3.5 kilowatt motor. Okay, so let's get cracking, shall we? The trick with these screws is to like wait until you hear like a click when you screw them out, and then you go perfectly back into the thread that was there before. It smells like silicone, doesn't it?
Beautiful. I prefer fresh paint.
Very strongly glued in place. And finally I can relax, because now all of the batteries of the Monster Pro are out. It's pretty clever how they do it. These exact battery packs, like these 900 watt-hour packs, are in every single Begode wheel, which has 100 volts. LG M50T, let's LG. This one is also LG. So I guess it's just LG packs. Cool. So I guess now it's time to check what's like in between the shells. Same thing here, dust building up from the holes here, here too. Check on everything. All right, now a couple of hours have passed because we actually needed to go into a store, because my usual key, which I use for opening up shells, works here, but because the monster is so big, it was just too small here. So we had to buy a longer key. This one works here, and now we can also separate the shelves. But so I'll remove the screws here next to the L hangers, of which there are 8. The most screws I've seen ever connected to the L hangers, and then we will separate the shelves. This one? Good. Thanks. I feel like... Oh. All of the motor wiring is out by accident. Okay, there's no wires coming from here, which is great. Just need to rearrange a bit of stuff. Let's see. Perfect. All right, finally. What a machine. Look at that. Look at that, Begode made in China. I think they wanted to make speakers here initially. You can see holes for speakers, but there are no speakers in. Maybe it was a plan they had, but they changed their mind. So what can we see here? Well, it was very important to me to open up the 2 halves of the shell, because then we can see what happens in between them. As opposed to like a king song or a, well, there's no king song, but a in motion, in Guads, all the compartments are connected. So if water is coming in from somewhere, it can be going into any part of the shell. So with that said, let's take a look in here. We can see that we have a speaker compartment, and the speaker compartment here has a lot of dust on the outside. Maybe you can show it here. Can you see it?
Yeah.
But the speaker is fit quite snugly into it, so you can see it. However, there is no silicone around there, so this is a potential point of ingress. As you can see here on the back, there is a multitude, really a multitude from this side, multitude of dust, really a lot through here, which is probably going through either the both sides of the shell. Here you can see a small crack, or through the light unit, dusted up. So, you know, here around there, yeah, lots of dust here around the light unit, loads of dust there, and also quite a bit of dust here on the speaker unit. But as you can see, I wasn't riding this thing in rain. Here, loads of dust, and also here, basically on every part. Sadly, as you can see, sandily, as you can see, around every single of these 2 halves, there is no silicone, there is no tape, because before Galway used to have like tape here between the 2 shells. It helps a lot actually. Emotion has this tactic, or uses this as well. Here on the front, there's also a lot of dust, and the thing is that if water spills from in between these 2 shells, if it spills here through the charge port on the top, which also, by the way, has no seal whatsoever, then you can see here there are openings in the shell, right here. I can put my finger through, and the same thing is on the other side. Let me see where it is. Yeah, here for the cables, for the wiring, and on this other side too. And then the water can just seep into the battery compartment, not a bit onto the motherboard too. And if it falls on the side, well, then you have a lot of issues. So not a waterproof wheel whatsoever, definitely not out of the box. The heatsink here, you can see it's outside, and you can see also how nicely well, not that, but nicely the silicone spread here. So the main motherboard area is pretty safe. But in order to seal this all off and be watertight somewhat for rain, you'll need to put tape on the bottom here, so the 2 halves of the shell are safe. We need to put silicone around the charge port, around the front light unit, around the rear light unit, around here, the speakers a bit, possibly also maybe seal off like around the cables here. These entrances, maybe from the inside, I don't know. When it comes to the like overall quality, lots of things are still left to be desired. Threads on the motherboard area, separated compartments, a reasonable ventilation system that has also a channel for air that goes in and also that goes out, filters. For overall rain waterproofing, we need silicone on all of the parts, around all of the parts that meet here between the shells, on the charge port area, here, yeah, here around the charge port too. So not a waterproof wheel whatsoever. I'll try to do my best now and show you guys too how to waterproof it, but still, if you want to ride in rain, just don't get this wheel. Get a Sherman instead, or like a Motion V12. These are way better waterproof wheels. With that said, I think this concludes the unboxing. Now we'll just seal everything off. The trolley handle looks to be pretty sealed as there's no light coming through from here. So I guess that's pretty good actually. Maybe I'll put some silicone around it too, but this doesn't look too bad. Okay, so we just put tape here and both shells were connected. And as you can see here, whilst on the bottom they're like not connecting really nicely. I don't know if it's the matter how we aligned it or not. It's very easy to like crack them open, and on the top they actually meet up perfectly fine here too. So yeah, you definitely need this strip of tape on the bottom of the wheel. So we're in the process of sealing everything off, and one thing I notice is that here you can see through the crease goes directly into the compartment, on the battery compartment. So this is probably where a lot of the dust and water could get in. We will seal these LEDs off as well. I was also wondering why there are these additional stripes here of double-sided tape, and it turns out here we can see these things are, I think, the BMS poking through the shrink tape. Alright, so the motor is in again, the wheel is in, and we managed to seal everything off that we think is a potential area of water ingress. First of all, we put the tape all around the wheel well, so even if the shells misalign or if there's some sort of debris in there, some hole, there's still the tape in there to keep water out and dust. We put silicone all around the front headlight. We put it around the charge port unit because there wasn't any there. Anywhere where the two shells meet, so here in the handle, on the top, down to the rear here, where the rear headlight housing is, we put silicone around there. Very important point is all around these lights, and you have to actually do it with the motor out because from the inside there's also holes. They peek through to the other side, so you can also do it from the other side. I would actually recommend to do it from this side because then no water can get in there whatsoever. So these are the main things that we sealed off. I'll have to still do some work on it, but that will be probably off camera. We'll see now if with all of these holes closed, the Monster Pro will have still enough cooling because now it will be just a sealed off potato. But I guess now it will be just a bit more waterproof. And yeah, would I ride it in extreme powering down rain? Probably not. But at least now I won't be too afraid to go into a puddle. So with that said, I hope you liked this sort of video. And if you're still here, leave a like on the video, subscribe to see more content like this. I'll see you in the next video. See you soon.